खुद ही कुकर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या। See, there is no dearth of ideas in this country. Everyone has an idea. You may have a brilliant idea, workable idea, but unless you demonstrate that it works on the ground, no one is going to listen to you.
We talk about sustainability as scale as two parameters that we think about whenever we evaluate education, like interventions. So what I wanted to ask was, in school system that we have, we also have certain interventions that talk about communities as a way to sustaining them. So in your experience so far, have you come across any interventions that also have communities as a part of their theory of change, and how have they sort of thought about scale and sustainability?
You know, without engaging with communities, which are one of the primary stakeholders that include parents of the children that you're going to teach, I don't think any idea will sustain. No idea will sustain without taking communities into confidence. You know, I have talked about 7 dimensions of sustaining, and one of the dimensions is emotional relatability. Now, what is this emotional relatability? That the stakeholders should be able to relate to what you are telling them, and they find some value in what you are telling them. If that doesn't happen, it won't sustain. The stakeholder has to perceive some value in what. Now, what is the value to the community? If the community perceives that what you are giving, and I go back to the first example that you gave in terms of enabling children to qualify for the IITs, then the parents will certainly perceive a lot of value because they want their children to get into the IITs. Similarly, if you're going to improve the learning outcomes of children, the parents would certainly be interested. Of course, they will look at your credentials, whether you are going to actually enable them to improve their learning outcomes, or you are like many other NGOs who come around and talk a lot and do nothing. So that credibility you'll have to establish over a period of time, because if you don't do that, and that's why I keep telling all the youngsters, it is nice to change the world. It is nice to bring about a change in the nation. It is nice to bring about a change in the society. But you have to first establish your credentials that you have in it for changing the world. And that's where the change has to start with you. So it's nice to aim high and it's nice to dream high, but the world around you is also looking at you. And they also want to evaluate whether you are just talking or you can walk as well. Because there's so many people talking about changing the world, changing the nation. So start small, set up a proof of concept, establish your credentials, and then expand. That's the usual model. Now, scaling usually happens with the government. But government is not going to listen to you to begin with, because there's so many people shouting from rooftops that please listen to me. They have no time. But if you establish your credentials as someone who's trying to do something, and since you are from Bihar, वो क्या है आपका वो 30 क्या है वो जो चलाता है
Super 30.
Now, if you listen to his story, which you would have, he started very small in his own way. Okay, he established his credentials, and now the government wants to use his services to scale it. No, that's the model actually. So you have to establish your credentials first for an idea to scale.
The second question that I was asking was, how do you build advocacy for an idea which is pedagogically completely new?
See, there is no dearth of ideas in this country. Everyone has an idea. You may have a brilliant idea, workable idea, but unless you demonstrate that it works on the ground, no one is going to listen to you. I mean, I never listened to it. When people came to me and talked about ideas, I said, tell me where it is working. You have to demonstrate that an idea.
So essentially, you have to prove it and prove your credibility that this actually works, and then only people will take it.
There you have to slog it out. You want people to start implementing your idea, you are again doing the wrong thing. You have to slog it out and demonstrate the efficacy of an idea that you have in mind, and then probably people will listen to you. You have a better chance of being heard.
Got it. So, and the second part was that I've listened to some of your talks, and you talk about how technology viability is a very, very important thing in scaling any intervention. Now, one of the things that I was sort of also reading about was primarily what we have seen technology as an intervention has scaled where the other stakeholders like teachers and the other coordinators and leaders have been trying to use technology. But wherever we have tried students to get to use technology, that has not really fared well because of the access issue. So from a government point of view, how is the sort of push towards making this accessible? Or what, according to you, how much time do you think it would take for a country like India, with such a vast students network, to actually adopt an technology intervention which is led by, which is dependent on students?
See, try and understand that students don't exist in a vacuum. They exist in a system, and that system includes teachers, principals, schools, parents. So you can't ignore them. You have to take stakeholders into confidence. You can't merely reach out to children and hope that parents will also adopt it. No, it won't work that way. You have to reach out to teachers, to principals, to parents simultaneously. Of course, the principal actor is the student, but given the age and impressionistic nature of children, there would be people around the child, very rightly so, the parents, the teachers, the school, the principal, and his friends, they will all be around him. So the strategy has to be multifold. It can't be only students. If it is only students, the chances of success are very remote. Because even if the child likes it, he will not be able to drive the parent to adopt it. And then parents may also be suspicious about this technology, because all sorts of technology are being branded or bandied around. So parents could be suspicious about that technology. So parents will have to be simultaneously taken into confidence. You can't sequence them that first I will impress the child and then through child I'll impress the parent. It won't work that way.
So if just continuity of this question part, I was trying to understand. Right now, what we have seen as technology intervention so far has been technology in schools. Have you come across certain interventions where people are trying to get technology into homes with parents and try to interact with students?
I mean, every day, the whole technology is coming home these days. In COVID times, who's going to school? And most of the technology has come at home. So there's a lot of technology coming at home. Technology is such a stupid thing that everyone thinks that through technology, they'll find all solutions. Now, I believe technology is a tool. So you have to be careful about how do you go about using it. There are extreme people who think that teacher can be dispensed with if you have right technology, appropriate technology and teachers. Oh, it's stupid. I mean, that's my personal view. It can't be, it shouldn't be done. The human essence has to be there. So the technology part has to be supplemental. It should make life easy for the child, for the parent, for the teacher. It should make education enjoyable, learning experience an enjoyable one. That's where technology will be helpful. So I'll give you my own example. I struggled to understand Archimedes principle in my school. But I remember as school education secretary, someone showed me a video of 30 or 45 seconds. And within a minute, I understood what Archimedes principle was. That's technology for you. So it enables you to understand complex concepts easier. It makes the whole process of learning very enjoyable. That's where technology is useful. It cannot replace, should not replace a parent or a teacher. It will be dangerous if it does that. And hence, whatever technology you have in mind has to account for all these stakeholders in the process of schooling.
Got it. Makes sense. The other thing, the last thing that I wanted to ask was, from a government partnership point of view, right? If a model is actually scaling, it has the potential to scale. It has shown the sort of demonstration at a particular place. What are some of the things that should work in order for government to come in and say, I'm also willing to support it financially together?
खुद ही कुकर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. So there are many people running after the government. Many people, almost everyone is running after the government because they think scale will come to there, rightly so. But unless your product is good enough to speak for itself, no one is going to listen to you. No one will listen because there are too many people running after the government to scale their projects. So you have to establish, as I keep saying, establish your credentials to the product or the idea or the service that you create so that people want it rather than you want them.
All right. So yeah, I think it was just a parting, any particular message that you'd want to give to youngsters like us who are coming in the non-profit segment and trying to.
Number one, you use the correct words, patience and perseverance. These are very important words. I think what you should very clearly remember in your mind is that results are not in your hand. So there could be mistakes, frustrations, failures. They are all a part of a journey. Take them in your stride. I know it's easy to say. I found it difficult to follow that. I did that, and ultimately I benefited personally. There would be failures, there would be mistakes, but be steadfast on what you have in mind. I think you've tasted success in the past, and you don't really know when success will come. But so long as you are committed to the cause that you're doing, I think success will ultimately come to you. So don't get hassled about success or failures. Be hassled about what you're doing now and focus on that.
Sure. All right. Okay.